What's up, gamers? Hi, Guardians, and hello, Internet. Bungie's Destiny 2 release of the Final Shape DLC has been overwhelmingly trumpeted as the best expansion in franchise history. It's the culmination and conclusion of the Light vs. Darkness saga, which has been a decade in the making since Destiny first launched in 2014. Whether you're a Destiny Alpha vet or a new Light player from the 2023 Lightfall expansion, gamers and Guardians alike can agree that the Final Shape story campaign and content has indeed been worth the wait. I wanted to single out the campaign specifically because, after all, a developer's craft of storytelling compels us to push further into their game and become immersed inside the universe they created. Bungie's story of Destiny into Destiny 2, with each DLC in all-encompassing lore, from the original Grimoire to the latest NPC dialogue, has undoubtedly served as a bridge between the power fantasy experience in-game through combat and the lore fantasy inside our minds for this compelling world of science fiction. The vantage points along this bridge not only look forward as to what is yet to come, but perhaps most importantly, where we have been. Not just as individual players, but also as a community. This sentiment is perhaps best shared by those like me who have been active in Destiny for a decade, but it certainly doesn't exclude newer Guardians in recent years. My point is, I couldn't help but to reflect upon all my time spent inside the game of Destiny, the people I've met, and even more so, the friends I've lost as I battle towards confronting the Witness. Playing through the Final Shape campaign was an emotional experience, to say the least. As a Year 1 player in Destiny and a clan leader for the past 7 years, I'm pretty sure I've seen it all. I've met the kindest Guardians and equally dealt with toxic players. I've seen failure and resentment replaced by success and commendation. I've made hundreds, if not thousands, of introductions along the way, many of which turned into friendships. I've also watched friends walk away without any explanation, turn against each other, scheme and create malcontent. Equally, I have met those in game whom I've known for years, and met other Guardians in IRL and have been blessed by all of their positivity. I often joked how what we experience in games is a metaphor for real life and vice versa. Now, I'm resolute in this belief. So thinking back to all these years of Destiny just didn't happen as soon as the campaign started inside the Final Shape. It was a slow, emotionally powerful burn that exposed itself with each reference to the past, and especially during the cutscenes. Take Cayde 6 for example. Is he dead? Alive? Either way, it was a happy moment to hear his voice again, especially from the original voice actor Nathan Fillion. The heroic jester of the Vanguard reunites with our Guardian to help us push back against the Witness. It's also profoundly impactful, if not simply amusing, to witness, see what I did there? The reconciliation between Cayde and Crow's former self, Prince Uldren, since the death of Cayde by the hands of Uldren during the Forsaken expansion. The dialogue between the two is well written, and again directs our thoughts to what we have experienced in the past. A funny standout line for me was when Cayde once again asks Crow, "How's your sister?" when Marisov is introduced later in the campaign. It's classic Cayde, classic Bungie. This video reflection could go on for hours if I retold every emotion felt during each cutscene and dialogue reference, but this Cayde 6 example resonates throughout the campaign. The narrative team at Bungie puts us on the path to confront our demons and reconnect with those we love. Our ghost speaks to us from the heart at every turn as we reunite the original Vanguard fire team of Cayde, Ikora, and Zavala. I cannot express how deeply touching it was to see both Ikora and Zavala's reaction to seeing Cayde again. It was in these moments I wished I could be reunited with those whom I've also lost over the years, both in-game and IRL. I would give anything to hear their voice and see them again and open my arms for a hug. I believe it's also important here to simply say to anyone I've met playing Destiny, and with whom I'm no longer in contact, that I hope you are well. Whether you are still playing, forgotten about me, hold resentment, or otherwise, I truly hope you are happy. This isn't an apology for any past differences, and I also don't expect an apology from you. However, if you are able to experience the Final Shape campaign and were impacted similarly, I would hope we both stand together on this bridge of reminiscence. No judgments towards each other, with a shared reverence for a game we love, and perhaps even a smile for the first time we met. To everyone who I've met along this decade-long journey, whether you are still playing Destiny, thank you for being there. Through all the good times and bad, you have all shaped me into the Guardian I am today. Guardians make their own fate is indeed the moral of this story campaign, which also applies to the Destiny community as a whole. Since Cabber's creation of the Aegis inside the Vault of Glass, to each thematic resolution inside the Final Shape campaign, solo players and Fireteam Guardians alike have had to make impactful choices. The three tenets of the Vanguard also resonate inside the TFS campaign: devotion, bravery, and sacrifice. However, do the three tenets of the Vanguard work in unison with Cabber's phrase of fate, or does each function on its own? Perhaps to some Guardians, one tenet is gilded, with more hubris attached from the others. Is the Guardian Collective bound to share the same fate, or does our personal desires and interpretations guide us towards our own destiny? It is interesting to look back after all these years and attempt to understand how players have conducted themselves after being exposed to such powerful language of conduct and decorum. I don't expect something like the LFG community to change its tolerance levels or misconceptions anytime soon. But here's an example of how the lessons taught in-game translate over to the Destiny player base. Like I said, I've met thousands of players over the years, many of which came from LFG, and it never surprised me when groups failed due to toxicity, connection, or experience. If the Final Shape campaign teaches us anything, it's how each of us needs to get out of our own way to make things better. The right choice for us may not be the right choice for us. In other words, I do believe that Guardians make their own fate. We need to work together and support each other. Our choices cannot be made for individual gain or at the expense of others. The three tenets of the Vanguard serve as guides to our final decisions, bringing us closer after each success and failure towards our destiny. We can all be better during our gaming sessions, and especially inside the Destiny community. This experience is truly unique in and of itself, and I firmly believe we all would be better served if we just exercised more of these powerful lessons learned in games and specifically through the TFS campaign. Often, when playing inside the campaign, I would need to pause after reflecting upon the themes of fate and the Vanguard tenets. Teary-eyed, I would instantly recall sad memories while shaking my head asking, what if, or why? This is not to say that I also wasn't laughing and smiling to myself equally while drifting back to epic and hilarious clan or fireteam moments, but the more somber memories lingered, sadly. Perhaps the most significant moment for me when I asked myself, what if, was hearing the voice acting replacement for Commander Zavala by Keith David for the late Lance Reddick. Filling the shoes of Lance Reddick or replacing any iconic role is an impossible task for anyone, and I commend Keith for delivering his own interpretation of Zavala while honoring the legacy of Lance. However, despite the direction of the narrative team for Zavala's demeanor and Keith's mastery of voice acting, it truly pains me to say I couldn't vibe with their efforts. Perhaps my feeling will change in the future as I get more acclimated to Keith's voice and tone for Zavala, But as far as first impressions through the campaign are concerned, all I could feel was a loss for Lance. What if, indeed? Even typing this script makes me teary-eyed for Big Blue, as Cade would say. Man, it sucks to lose the people we love. I didn't know Lance personally, but again, I offer my condolences to his family, friends, and associates. Commander Zavala was the embodiment of the 3 Vanguard tenets of devotion, bravery, and sacrifice. And indeed, Lance Reddick was, and always will be, the embodiment of Commander Zavala. They even had the same haircut. Lance Reddick was also a Destiny player and ironically a Warlock main, but regardless, I believe he would agree, if not remind us, to stay vigilant despite our losses, no matter how personal they may be. It's in these lessons, these reminders, these stories from the world of Destiny that truly made the Final Shape campaign stand out from the rest. Again, I could go on forever with highlighted moments of reflection, but what's been said best reveals what the campaign meant to me. I believe it also goes without saying that the overall gameplay updates and introduction of the Prismatic subclass are super fun, pun intended, and progressive. I've not experienced a power fantasy this extreme in-game prior to the Final Shape. GG's to all the teams who contributed to this absolute banger of an expansion, and specifically to the teams dedicated to the campaign. However, I did wish we had the opportunity to have the power fantasy of playing some of our NPC faves, such as Cade, Crow, Ikora, or Zavala. Perhaps in future DLC. We shall see. Fingers crossed, though. Well, there you have it. My thoughts on the Final Shape campaign and how it impacted me looking back at a decade of playing Destiny. FYI, my initial playthrough was solo on Legend difficulty, and I would highly recommend returning vets and new lights to do the same. The story beats serve as an emotional catalyst to combat the heightened difficulty, which, to be honest, was tempered with the addition of Prismatic. Overall, I scored a campaign 9 out of 10. Nothing is perfect, no game, no Guardian. Perhaps being imperfect is the Final Shape, and the true lesson learned during this impactful campaign story. Thank you for taking the time to watch and listen to my video. Please use the comment section to express your thoughts, and feel free to join my Discord where we're always talking Destiny, as well as other looter shooters and MMORPGs. Until next time, Guardians, be safe, stay vigilant, and as always, may the light protect us all. Thank you for watching. Likes and shares are kindly appreciated, and subscribe for more content. Peace.